Welcome to week 5. This week we'll be continuing to look at psychoanalytic thinking. This time, though, we finally have a theorist who isn't a man. Karen Horney is a person who studied psychoanalytic theory as it was being produced by people like Freud and Jung and Adler and some of their direct students. She was German. She was one of the first women to earn a medical degree in Germany. Actually, she was the first woman in Germany to earn a medical degree. But like a lot of her contemporaries, she became very interested in psychology and followed kind of directly in the footsteps of people like Freud and Adler. Like Adler, she was not convinced that Freud's rigid interpretation of his own work was adequate. She was moving in this more cultural direction, very similarly to Alfred Adler. In particular, she was not comfortable with the way that Freud described women and the psychology of women. If you recall, Freud had a tendency to view women as basically incomplete men, that they couldn't possibly develop the same kind of level of emotional maturity and level of high psychological functioning because they were biologically female and therefore limited. He had concepts like penis envy, describing the way women function. And obviously she disagreed with that. She felt those were inherently sexist ideas that were not adequate for describing half the human population. So, not being one who was willing to run away from a fight, she threw her own hand grenades into the arena, proposing ideas like womb envy to describe women's power in their being able to produce children from their bodies, but also men's fear that they are inadequate because they can't do so. Now, that wasn't one of her major theoretical ideas. That was more of a political statement than a theoretical one. Where she's had the greatest impact was really pulling together the ideas, the basic ideas of psychoanalytic theory with a very socially grounded understanding of how people see themselves and value themselves in a world that often wants to push them in directions that are not a good fit for them. So sometimes she was talking specifically about women, but she wasn't limiting herself to that. So, students, when they read Horney's theory, they're often like, yes, I totally agree with that. So there are many aspects of what she wrote that really resonates hard with people and the way they see themselves. So I'm interested to read your comments and questions on perusal to see if you have a similar reaction. Finally, you'll notice when we get to studying Carl Rogers, just how strongly Rogers' ideas overlap with Karen Horney's theory. So we will be revisiting her work at a later point in time.